What's up, bros? How you doing? I just wanted to stop in today and share with you some of my thoughts on the market and what's going on with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with Matic, and just sort of the market sentiment and where my head's at with everything, considering that right now it seems like the entire crypto space is sort of on the fence about what Bitcoin's about to do. Is it about to crash? Is it going to go back down to 32,000? Is it about to take off to 100,000? I mean, literally opinions are all over the map depending on where you look. So I'm going to share my opinion, my thoughts on the whole entire situation. So if you're interested in this type of information in the future, then don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you get notified the next time I post. But so some of you guys know that I've also been doing some game review stuff. I worked with the Maticverse team to look at some of their project, and they actually have more updates coming out soon as well, and I'll be sharing some of those updates as they become available in the next video or two, probably, because there's some stuff coming on the pipe, but that's not the point. The big point is the crypto space in general. It's so interesting when you look at the perspectives that just exist on YouTube and also off of YouTube. When you look at the perspectives that exist on like TradingView and things like that, when you go over to maybe TradingView, where half of the traders are used to trading stock and traditional products, and crypto to them seems kind of like this crazy wild west new thing. There's kind of like a 50-50 sentiment over there, where it seems like half of the traders on TradingView, their charts are just so bearish, and they just think Bitcoin is so crap, and they just can't wait to watch it fail in their opinion. And then the other half of traders on TradingView are super bullish, real keen on the fundamentals, and think anyone saying that Bitcoin's not going to go to $1 million over the next 5 to 10 years is crazy. So you see both perspectives over there. On YouTube, it seems to be even less stable, right? There's stuff all over the place, and thankfully there are some really good analysts. And I'm actually going to do a video on my favorite YouTubers that I watch on a regular basis because I think it'll help. I want to help promote stability in the market. I want to help promote emotional stability and financial stability in the market. And so I want to promote other influencers and YouTubers who I believe have a good head on their shoulders and have the right perspective for the market. But anyway, Tyler S. is one that I really enjoy. And of course, Benjamin Cohen always has wonderful information as well. So if you don't know them already, I suggest you check them out. But let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick and just cut to the chase and talk a little bit about the king here. Everyone knows that the entire market sort of moves with Bitcoin, and the entire crypto market, I should say. And interestingly, in the past, we've seen Bitcoin dominance, meaning the amount of money in cryptocurrency being dominated mostly by Bitcoin, meaning most of the trillions of dollars in crypto is traditionally in Bitcoin. That's the Bitcoin dominance that we're talking about. We're seeing Bitcoin dominance kind of change to an extent, where in the past, when we had these bull runs and market cycles, the big whales, or the great giant institutional and buyers, and these guys who are picking up 150 million on a weekend like it's nothing, these guys were primarily focused on Bitcoin only, and Bitcoin primarily for their crypto trades. But now we're seeing money bleed over into Ethereum and other altcoins in a very, very big way. And that's why, a lot of, some analysts are thinking, the longer Bitcoin continues to be unimpressive, the more valuable that's going to be for the altcoin sector, because it's going to push more and more money into the altcoin sector. The fact that the cryptocurrency space is just blowing up, it's not going away, is something that just cannot be stressed enough. I mean, all the mainstream outlets are now coming forward and talking about all these partnerships that huge brands, huge technologies and companies, Adidas and things like Ubisoft, like huge people are coming in and partnering with giant crypto technologies, with Chainlink and with Polygon and with all kinds of things like that. So certainly we see also the banks and the ETFs that are coming, and even on the financial end and the DeFi end, we know that banks are interested in these products as well. So there's a gaming sector that's about to blow up as well, and just so many aspects to it between metaverse, right, and gaming, which are kind of they're in the same boat, but they're not exactly the same because they're very, very different industries in some aspects, but in other aspects they have a lot of similarities. But then there's also finance and DeFi, right? Then there's also insurance. There's so many different areas. There's also just the blockchain in general being used in many different ways as a ledger for a Web 3.0 or as a new Internet of Things type thing. So there's so many different areas to invest in or to be invested in the cryptocurrency space that we see just continuing to grow. So back to Bitcoin, the point I'm making is it's really fascinating to see that Bitcoin's rise, it didn't come in the same manner that some people were expecting it to, especially in light of Plan B's predictions in the past, which were all hit very well, and then we missed the first prediction. We missed our mark this month on the most recent prediction, but if anyone was paying attention, they would have known that Willy Woo himself was saying that we're looking at a lengthening market cycle, and he's seeing a change in the way this is playing out. And he himself agreed before even we missed this sort of market top that was expected. He himself admitted that we're seeing a lengthening cycle. We're seeing a change in the way Bitcoin cycles are working, and maybe even a slight decoupling from the way things have been done in the past. But that's for so many different reasons. But here, with Bitcoin, I remember for me, I was, a lot of you may have been as well, but sitting right here and riding this dump to the bottom, thankfully I managed to avoid some of those losses. But if you've been in the market for a while, you know that these crazy corrections happen year over year and every couple of months or whatever. I think it can be very, very scary. And right now, it seems that we're in what looks like and what is, a big correction, a big dip, and a consolidation. But for me, I'm still fundamentally bullish. The Bitcoin, the news about cryptocurrency in general is only strengthening and growing. With Facebook's new policy on ads, I did a video about that if you're interested. I think the crypto space is just going to blow up. I still think that when people download their apps and buy their first cryptocurrencies, most of them are going to still probably reach for Bitcoin initially. But like I said, some of this money is now bleeding over into Ethereum big time. And I want to show you something actually. Since the low of this crash that occurred back in March and actually played out all the way until July, we had we've come back up, and we're up 68% right now from that crash to now in terms of overall market profits in Bitcoin. But if we go over to Ethereum, for example, I have the Ethereum chart up. Here we go. It's a different story. From here, we're seeing from that same time frame, that same crash, and here's July, right? Same area of the lows, to where we're at now, we're seeing a 154%, 55% increase in value. So what does this mean? What am I saying? What I'm implying is that after the crash and maybe even before, we're seeing more and more interest from institutional buyers in Ethereum and other altcoins, but especially Ethereum. Ethereum is, people are buying it like it's the oil of the future, and in a sense, it might be. But I just wanted to point out that it's interesting to me that Bitcoin's only recovered about 67%, and Ethereum's doubled that and more. And so, as a reminder, when the market cap is higher for a coin, it takes more money to influence that market cap, and then when the market cap's lower, it takes less money to influence the price, I should say, not the market cap. It takes less money to influence the price by percentage. So basically what I'm saying is, if the market cap for Ethereum is smaller than Bitcoin, then it takes less money into Ethereum to cause the price to increase. And that's the same outcome for all the other altcoins as well. Speaking of which, let's go take a look at Matic, because you guys know that I'm obsessed with Matic, right? So I'm not going to do that thing where I'm like, hey, remember a couple weeks ago where I told you to buy Matic at $1.85? Because that's just retarded. Everyone was telling everyone to buy Matic at $1.85 and earlier. If you've been paying attention, there's a lot of people that were saying that, not just me. Matic just happens to be my pet coin. I've been waiting for it to pop off for a long time, and I've been collecting it and hodling it. So, of course, I'm always going to encourage people to get in on this coin. Well, not always. I'm not going to encourage you to get in on it if it's about to crash, and I'm sure of that. But look at Matic. I mean, I really don't think it's well. It could be due for a correction. Don't get me wrong, or a consolidation at the point that it's in now. I think I told you guys back here when it was at $1.80 something. This is a good place for Matic long term. This is a good place for Matic. And I even said, look, it might even come all the way back down to 130 something, but only before continuing up to 230, 240 and beyond. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. And it's actually outperforming what I really expected and anticipated myself at the moment. We're seeing a very interesting test occurring with Matic. So on the daily, you know, I really do anticipate and have anticipated it to continue along this type of a corridor. And, you know, we see over time that it is going to continue in gaining price action and gaining value. But we're seeing something really cool happen right now with Matic, actually. And it actually broke above this trend line. And you can see that it's actually broken above it. And now it's testing this trend line as support. So what I'm saying is, previously, this is how these cycles work, these charts work. Previously, this line was acting as a resistance line. See, it resisted going above that height. Boom, resistance again. So double resistance, but then it broke through that. It kind of bounced off it again, and then broke through it and got above it. And what happens in these cycles is a coin or a stock will typically break above a trend line and then test that trend line. So we can expect basically the price to go above, come back down and touch the trend line around 238, somewhere in there, and test to see whether or not that will be flipped to support. And if it is flipped to support, which means if enough people are willing to buy Matic at 238, then it will bounce off of this, and this line will then become a support line instead of a resistance line, which is very good news. That will mean that this is no longer the roof within which Matic is bumping into. Instead, it becomes a new floor to bounce off of and continue in growth. So that's really good news. This is a really good time for Matic, really exciting time for Matic. Big announcements coming from their corporate team, I think they said on the 9th. So I'm looking forward to hearing what that's all about. And again, long term, this thing is a monster. I love it. But again, so we can see Matic. Look, for example, it's ranked 14 in the market cap. Here is, what do we got? 17 billion. 17.6 billion right now, right? If you compare that to like Bitcoin's market cap, actually. And right now, Bitcoin's market cap is sitting at 958 billion. So very, very, very big difference. 17.6 versus 958. Huge difference. That means if $1 billion, or if $10 billion, or if $20 billion flows into Matic, it will have a much bigger impact on the price and value of Matic than it will have on Bitcoin if 20 billion flows into Bitcoin, because it just simply will be a smaller percentage of an impact compared to the amount of money that's already there in the pool. So what I'm saying is, this is why it's so big and so valuable for so many investors to get into these altcoins, these and why we're seeing so much money go into Ethereum and some of the other altcoins is because I think some of the institutional investors are afraid, or not afraid, I should say, but they're hoping to get some of these extra powerful gains that they've seen their buddies get in the years subsequent to this. And I think as the understanding is growing, as education is growing, and people's exposure to the crypto space is growing, trust is growing, not just in Bitcoin. I think people used to just dip their toes in Bitcoin, see if we can make some money off of Bitcoin if it's really a viable asset class. And then now that they have, and they've been doing that for a while now, they're really excited about getting those 10x, 20x, 100x gains from the smaller cap coins that are available. And I think that there's definitely a 10x available for Polygon in the long run. And people, of course, there's always going to be people out there calling for $10 Polygon, including myself. I don't know how long that will take to get there, but it certainly is possible. So I just wanted to say, look, I don't want to do that whole, I told you so, go buy Polygon thing. I really don't, because I wasn't the only one telling you that. I know everyone's been talking about Matic, and Matic could come to a correction any second now, right? To me, it's funny, like the temptation for a lot of these YouTubers is to run out and go, oh, I told you to buy Solana. I told you to buy Solana. Look what it's doing right now. Look what it's doing. But then they don't come and talk to you when, Solana's in the shitter. I don't want to do same with me. I'd rather pump and talk about Matic while it's in the dump, and remind you to zoom out and remind you that this is a good long-term investment, then come on here and act like I'm some kind of prophet just because Matic's doing good one day or a couple of days. It's going to do good. It is going to do good, and I think everyone knows that. So in terms of the greater market, though, in terms of what Bitcoin is doing and going to do, I'm just like Coins Kid. I don't got no crystal ball. I'm over here deleting and moving stuff on my chart on accident. This is always fun to do. Can I Control Z that? Yeah, you can. That's cool. Anyway, the greater Bitcoin market, what's going to happen? Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I really believe that we are in a position, a buying position. I really believe that this is a good time still to pick up some Bitcoin. And honestly, we could see deeper corrections. We could see come a lot lower. We could see it come back down to back down into the 30s. But personally, I'm not anticipating that. I do have a little bit of Tether, fiat, like U.S. cash set aside in case that happens, so I can buy more in the dip. But I'm not anticipating that. I believe the bottom is pretty much in for this little micro crash and correction, and I think from here we'll probably see consolidation sideways, and then maybe even a little bit of an additional correction, but only before continuing along the road to new higher highs, just because the long-term and short-term fundamental news is so bullish for the entire market. So much money is pouring in. Billions of dollars are being pulled and contracted to all kinds of projects from all kinds of mainstream sources, from other billion-dollar companies that haven't really been involved in crypto in the past are now getting involved in crypto and very excited about it. This is only going to grow. We are in the beginning of just a revolution, obviously. So again, I have a long-term perspective in mind. I'm not trying to get rich overnight. I'm trying to get rich in 5 years. The last couple of years of being in crypto has been very helpful towards that goal. Not there yet, but we're on the way. And I really believe that if people hold the right perspective on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins, there's a huge opportunity here to really generate wonderful wealth over 5 years, over 10 years. As long as you're careful and as long as you don't expect to get rich overnight. But anyway, I really believe the market has bullish sentiment. I mean, the fear and greed index is high, right? You guys understand what that is. So here's my Twitter account. If you guys aren't following me over here, I would really appreciate that. But the fear and greed index, you guys are familiar with that, right? I think I have it here. The Bitcoin fear and greed index, what is it today? Let's go to their actual thingy. Did they post it? 28. So the idea obviously is that when the fear levels are high, that this is a great time to buy. Because when people are afraid of the market, they tend to sell, and they'll even sell at a loss in order to just in order to get rid of their coin, because they're so afraid they're even willing to sell at a loss, and that's how people take their losses when they trade Bitcoin. But if you're a smart buyer, and if you're a patient buyer, and you know if you have a long-term strategy in mind, then when the fear is high, it's the time to buy, and you know that. People are willing to get rid of their Bitcoin for cheap, then it's a good time to pick it up for cheap. And conversely, we see that when the market sentiment is really positive and bullish and everyone's really excited, it moves into this realm of euphoria where everyone just thinks, oh my God, I'm going to get so rich, and they're so excited, and they're pouring all their money into this because they're so sure that they're going to get, it's the FOMO, the fear of missing out occurs, everyone jumps in, and euphoria occurs. And when that happens, that's a very good time to take some profits from your crypto portfolio, put them into Tether or USDC or another stable coin, whatever percentage you decide that you want to do, and just be prepared for a correction, because when everyone's super excited and super bullish, that's usually when it goes down, and when everyone's ready to quit and throw in the towel and sell their Bitcoin cheap, that's when the market starts to recover. So that's just traditionally the way it works, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Right now, the fear and greed index is in a good place for me to be invested. I think that fear levels are high. Bitcoin's putting in a nice higher low here along a trend line that makes sense. Ethereum is kicking butt too. The market's really bullish on Ethereum, and it will continue to be for a long time because of just so much stuff happening there. And then of course Matic, Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, now partnering with Matic or working with Matic on some big announcements coming. And obviously you can see the bullish news, pre-bullish news causing the pre-announcement pump here. So will there be a little micro dump after the news or on the day of the news release? Probably, possibly. It's just the way it is. Buy the rumor, sell the news. But it will be a temporary profit taking before a continuation along the path. And I just, again, I can't express enough how mathematically impossible it would be for another couple $1 trillion to pour into this space and not see Matic go to $10. It just, to me, it seems impossible. It's going to happen, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. But I love this project, and I'm going to keep stacking it up. So I just wanted to remind you that if you do appreciate the content, then please do me a favor and like the video, and give me a comment below and let me know what you'd like me to look into. I've seen a couple of requests popping in, but I am interested in finding out more about what coins and what projects interest you. I'm a researcher by nature. I love to do it. I love to dig in and find out what's going on. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm researching a couple of different things right now. One is continuing to research Maticverse. Another one is called Magic Universe. It's a Chinese game that I'm kind of testing right now as well. If it turns out to be decent, then I'll share it with you. Right now, some pre-mining stuff is happening, but I'm not quite sure it's safe enough yet for me to share with everybody else. So I'm going to keep messing with that until my confidence level is high enough to say, like, yeah, you should check it out. But anyway, that's it, guys. If you guys don't already know, go check out Tyler S.'s YouTube channel. He's always got amazing, cool stuff here, and he's been talking about Matic a lot the last month, thankfully. So I'm very, very glad to see him bullish on Matic as well. But that's all, guys. I appreciate you. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.